Welcome to Chapter 7. Today's learning target, I can solve two-step equations. And now, if you were sick of all those proportions and ratios from before, it is your lucky day. We can take a little break from those. Also, I can solve two-step equations. We should probably back up to what a one-step equation is. One step is where you do one thing to both sides of the equal sign. So on this first one, my one thing would be minus 9 on both sides. In number 2, my one thing would be add 10 to both sides. In number 3, my one thing would be add 5 to both sides. So now we are graduating to two-step equations where we are going to do two things to both sides. And by the end of next week, we will have 4 steps. But you maybe notice step 1 and step 2 are really small. We don't need them yet. So go ahead and pause and write down step 3 and step 4. This is basically a checklist. We have to do undo adding or subtracting first. And then once we have undone adding or subtracting, then multiplying or dividing. So the order on this is very important. Pause whenever you need if you need more time. So here's my first one. So I'm always going to go in this order. Add or subtract is the first thing. So when I see 3n minus 6, I need to undo adding or subtracting. I need to undo minus 6 by adding 6. That means my 3n is going to come down to the next row. And 15 plus 6 is 21. Okay, once I did this step, add or subtract, now I'm going to multiply or divide. Well, when 3 is smushed with n, that means multiply. So I'm going to undo it by dividing on both sides. Of course, I should always check to make sure my answer makes sense. It used to say 3n minus 6. Now it says, whoops, 3 times 7 minus 6. 21 minus 6. Yay, it worked out. Very similar on box 2. I need to add or subtract. Undo plus 3 by minus 3. I need to multiply or divide. Undo multiply by divide. It used to say 5 times x plus 3, but if x is 9, it says 5 times 9 plus 3. Yay! 45 plus 3 is 48. That means I did it right. Box 3, I need to undo minus 10 with a plus 10. Variable comes down. Ooh, we haven't had negatives for a while. Negative 6 plus 10. It used to say t divided by 4. Now it says 16 divided by 4. 16 divided by 4 is 4 minus 10. Ooh, I'm going negative. The next couple boxes have a trick to them, but I want to make sure you know what to do. So box 4. Many times before this, I have said move the negative to the top, but this is an exception. If there's a variable on the top, I don't want to move it up, I want to move it down. So if there's a variable on the top, I want to move it down. And then I can follow the same steps. Go ahead, pause, give it a try. Add or subtract. This is dividing. I'm going to multiply. When I go to check that, I have a negative on the top and the bottom, which is a positive, and 8 minus 8 is 0. The next one that has a little trick. By the 5th box, most people know that they are going to subtract 10, but then they get stuck with this negative k. Remember that a 1 hides there. So I'm going to divide by negative 1 to get negative 10. When you check that, you're taking out the k and putting a negative 10, but there was still a negative 10 in the front. Here's another rule we haven't had in a while. Big plus 10 plus 10. Yep, equals 20. Here's the last tricky one. When the variable is second, you have to use stuck like glue. Another rule we haven't used in a while. When the variable is second, we have to use stuck like glue. Without stuck like glue, it looks like you should add 15 because there's a negative there. With stuck like glue, that wasn't actually subtraction. I am going to subtract now. When you go to check that, make sure you leave the stuck like glue parentheses in there. -5 times -1 is 5 plus 5, 20. The last two boxes, this one is regular, and this one has a trick. Go ahead and pause and try those out. This one is regular. And this one has the stuck like glue trick. I think you're ready. Adios, amigos.